Good afternoon and welcome to the Mcmullen Family Stadium. This afternoon, the Tampa Spartans playing host in a doubleheader to the Rollins Tars. I'm Bruce Wozniak here to call the action for you, and an understatement to say that this is an important game, certainly a Sunshine State Conference rivalry, and this will have an impact on what these teams do following this weekend that concludes the regular season. The Spartans come into this game with an overall record of 33-10. As you see, the team's about to start here, and UT wearing all black. And for Rollins, they come into today's game with a one-loss record of 30-8. And there you see the first out of the game, the first at-bat, the first pitch, the first out. Just like that, Rollins has their first out. Didn't even give time to tell you the starting pitcher for this afternoon for UT is Mariah Galhouse. And that leadoff hitter for Rollins was Ashley Troutman. And so in the batter's box now for the visitors is Ravian Bryant. She is a senior. And facing Mariah Galhouse, swings, and it goes back to the screen. Behind quickly in the count is Bryant, 0-2 now. Galhouse delivers and foul ball. The Spartans come into this game on an 8-game winning streak. And Rollins looking to get back into the win column after having dropped their last outing. As you see, a swing and a miss for strike 3. And so down goes Bryant. 9-2 was the score of the Rollins last game, which was Saturday morning. That was against Nova Southeastern, and it ended a modest 3-game winning streak for the Tars. And Chelsea Peace, the batter here, in the top of the first inning. And the 0-1 on the way to her. And that'll be a ball. Chelsea Peace, a senior from Orlando. And swings and misses on the next pitch, and very quickly Mariah Galhouse is one strike away from already concluding this top of the first inning. And that will be ball 2. Very sunny, very warm. A game time temperature of 87 degrees. For the Spartans wearing all black, they probably wish it was quote-unquote only 82, as you see the ground out to end the top of the first inning. And so the Tars go down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, and no Tars base runners left on. And so we are through half an inning. You're watching Tampa Spartan softball on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
Just another ordinary day at UT.
And we're back live here at the Mcmullen Family Stadium, getting ready for the bottom of the first inning as the UT hitters will be facing starting pitcher Emily Mcmullen, a freshman from Palm City, Florida. And Mcmullen, a 1.58 earned run average this season. She has a 12-3 one-loss record, 106 innings pitched. And as you see, the first pitch to Lauren Fantone, and finishing up on Mcmullen. 81 strikeouts this season. 10 complete games in her 19 games started. She's made 24 appearances. And so Lauren Fantone, count 2-0 to her. And Fantone hitting .303 this season. She's played in 43 games. And that one at the knees. Fantone, 3-0, count to her. She has 11 RBI this season. And there's going to be strike one to her. Fantone with a .361 on base percentage. And one ball away from reaching base here to start the game. And the 3-1 on the way. Chopped to third. And routinely over to first for out number one. So getting ahead in the count, 3-0 goes for naught as Fantone is retired. And that will bring up Lily Keister, playing center field here this afternoon. Lily Keister, see strike one to her. She is hitting .354 this season, having played in 33 games. And the 0-1 to her, swing and a miss. And so Fantone, or excuse me, Keister, the opposite of Fantone. Fantone had gotten off to a 3-0 count, way ahead, and now Keister behind, and that one's way outside. And so Keister stays alive at 1-2. And you see the field entirely covered in sunshine on this beautiful Friday afternoon in Tampa as the 1-2 is delivered, and that'll be a strikeout for Emily Mcmullen as Lily Keister goes down as out number 2 here in the bottom of the first inning. And that'll bring up the pitcher Mariah Gelhaus. Swings and misses on the first pitch. Gelhaus hitting .299 this season with 17 RBI. She has one home run and a .329 on base percentage. And Mcmullen checks the wristband. And the 1-1 on the way, and Gelhaus swings and misses. That one handcuffed her. And now it's Mcmullen who finds herself one strike away from retiring the Spartans 1-2-3, just like UT did in the top of the first to the Tars. As you saw, that one fouled back to the screen. The home plate umpire is Tyrone Miller. Steve Lewis, the umpire, down at first base right now. And the 1-2 coming from Emily Mcmullen, and swing and a miss. Down goes Mariah Gelhaus. And the Spartans go 3 up and 3 down in the bottom of the first. No runs on no hits. There were no Tars errors and no Spartans runners left on base. We are through one complete, And we'll be back with more. You're watching Tampa Spartans softball on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back here at Mcmullen Family Stadium, the Spartans and the Tars, the first game of a doubleheader. And we closed out the bottom of the first by seeing UT's pitcher, Mariah Galhouse, batting, and now Rollins' pitcher, Emily Mcmullen, will be the hitter here to start off this inning. I'm sorry, that's Ashley Worrell and not Emily Mcmullen. So 2-0 here to Ashley Worrell. And a 2-1 to Worrell, chopped foul down the third base line. And here comes the 2-2 from Galhouse, and just outside for ball 3. So a full count here to Ashley Worrell, starting off the top of the second inning. And that's going to be a strikeout as Mariah Galhouse gets her second K of the game. And Worrell not really satisfied with that call, hung around in the batter's box for an extra minute or so. And now she heads to the dugout. And that'll bring up Tyler Joe Colby. Colby is the first base player for the Tars and finds herself 0-1 here against Mariah Galhouse. And chopped back to Galhouse, and an easy toss over to first base for out number 2. And that brings up Grace Germer. And the first pitch to her on the way. And right down the middle for strike 1. Germer, the Tars' third base player. And looks at that one for a ball. And that one's outside as well. Two and one here, the count to Grace Germer. And now Galhouse delivers. And strike 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the second. And let's see if Galhouse can get the Tars down 1-2-3 again. As there's one sent to the outfield, and that's going to be a base hit. And so Grace Germer gets the first hit of this game and is the first base runner of this game for either team in both of those stat categories. And that'll bring up Jaden Walker, the Tars right fielder. Walker hitting .232 this season. 4 home runs and 15 RBI. And she has a .276 on-base percentage. The 0-1 on the way to her. And that one will go foul down the first baseline. Giving chase out there was Mackenzie Allen, the Spartans right fielder. So 0-2 here to Jaden Walker. And down she goes looking. So Galhouse gets her 3rd strikeout of the game. The Tars, no runs on 1 hit. There were no Spartans errors and 1 runner left on base. We'll be back with the bottom of the 2nd inning here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
And starting the bottom of the 2nd here, Corinne Miner, the batter for UT. And now Ashley Worrell hits the other corner. And so 2-0 to Corinne Miner. .3-0 to Miner. Ashley Worrell had thrown just 14 pitches in the 1st inning. And 4 straight pitches here. Corinne Miner draws the base on balls. So Ashley Worrell issues her first walk of the game. And that'll bring up the Spartans' second base player, Alexa Russo. And showing bunt goes foul. Ashley Worrell, 1.11 earned run average this season. She started 19 games, has appeared in 27, a 16-4 1-loss record. And the 0-2 now from her to Russo, and that's a ball. So Alexa Russo stays alive. Worrell checks the wristband, and with Corinne Miner at first base, here's the 1-2, and Russo right to Worrell and over to second, not in time. Umpire Steve Lewis over there to call safe. And you see from the Rollins dugout, out comes head coach Christine Roser-LeFavors having a discussion. And that's going to result in a conference between Steve Lewis and Tyrone Miller. And in the meantime, you see Corinne Miner standing confidently on second base and Alexa Russo over at first. And so an error is scored against the Tars, and the Spartans now have runners on first and second with nobody out in the bottom of the second. And showing bunt was Lexi Chevalier, the Spartans catcher. So 0-1 to Chevalier, and she looks out into the infield and sees two of her teammates on base and shows bunt again, and that one goes foul, and so Chevalier behind the count 0-2. And Chevalier this season hitting .275, has played in 43 games, and she's got 1 home run, 14 RBI, and swings at that one. And Worrell looks, throws to third, and is in time. As that time, umpire Steve Lewis had moved over and made the call that retires Corinne Miner. And so Alexa Russo advances to second, and Chevalier goes into first. And so the Tars with a conference here, as Leslie Cantor will do the same with her Spartans players. And this is going to bring up Emily Jansen, the Spartans first base player. Jansen hitting .198 this season in 43 games played. And Jansen with an opportunity here with only one away in the bottom of the second, and 2 Spartans on base. And the Spartans are inserting a pinch runner. Abigail Siegel goes into run for Alexa Russo at second base. And now the pitch is strike one against Emily Jansen. And that one's outside for ball one. So Siegel at second. Siegel, as I just mentioned, pinch running for Alexa Russo, and so Abigail Siegel at second, and there's a swing and a miss by Jansen. Lexi Chevalier over at first. The count now 1-2 to Emily Jansen as Ashley Worrell checks the wristband again. And swing and a miss. Down goes Emily Jansen, and for Ashley Worrell, that is strikeout number 3 of the game. And that'll bring up Steph Ballmer, the UT shortstop. Ball one to Steph Ballmer. Ballmer hitting .187 this season, 43 games played, and the 1-0 on the way to her. And looks at that one for strike one. Steph Ballmer with a quick look over to head coach Leslie Cantor at third, and Worrell ready to deliver the 1-1. And that one's going to be strike two. As you saw, the catcher Chelsea Peace framing that one at least enough to perhaps have some influence over Tyrone Miller, the home plate umpire. And there's a swing and a miss. And just like that, Ballmer is retired, and the Spartans are unable to convert. There were no runs, no hits, one Rollins error, and 2 runners left on base. So we are through 2 complete and remain scoreless. You're watching Tampa Spartans softball on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela burns it. Incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us.
And for college sports.
Back live here at the Mcmullen Family Stadium. Top of the 3rd inning between the Tampa Spartans and the Rollins Tars. Taylor Waters, the center fielder for the visitors. The hitter here to start the top of the 3rd, and she's going to be out at first base. Good speed shown by Taylor Waters, but not able to beat out the throw. And so there's one away in the top of the 3rd for Rollins. And they send their left fielder Lexi Moore to the plate. Moore actually from Plant City. Fittingly, since Plant City was the longtime home of the International Softball Federation, the world governing body for the sport. And strike one to Waters, playing her college softball for the Rollins Tars. As you see, strike two. She's hitting .224 this season. And now the 1-2 to her is swung on, and it's going to be a base hit. Just found the gap that she needed between Alexa Russo, the second base player, and Emily Jansen, first base player. And so the Tars have a runner aboard with only one out in the top of the 3rd. And the first pitch is a ball to Ashley Troutman. So we're back to the top of the order. Troutman 0 for 1 in the game. Swings and misses, and the runner goes, and she'll be out at second base. So good throw there by Lexi Chevalier, as the Spartans able to shut down the Tars in the sense of having nobody on base now. And the 1-1 pitch coming to Ashley Troutman, and it's right back to morale. Galehouse flipped over to Jansen for out number 3, and it's just that fast. No runs on one hit, no Spartan errors, and no Tars base runners left. Through 2.5, we remain scoreless. You're watching Tampa Spartans softball on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Back live here at the Mcmullen Family Stadium, getting ready for the bottom of the third inning. The Tampa Spartans playing host to the Rollins Tars in a doubleheader. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, the Spartans trying to keep alive a winning streak that's currently at 8 games. And ironically, 8 is what number they are ranked. And UT starts off the bottom of the third inning with the right fielder Mackenzie Allen up to bat. And the first pitch from Worrell is ball 1. Mackenzie Allen is hitting .273 this season, and the 1-0 to her. Look out as she leans out of the way of that one. And so the count goes to 2-0. Mackenzie Allen has played in 28 games this season. Still looking for her first RBI of the season. And unless she homers, then it will not happen in this at-bat. Count now 2-1 to Allen, hometown kid from right here in Tampa. And that one just catches enough of the corner for strike 2. Ashley Worrell with 4 strikeouts in the game, hoping to make it 5 here, and Allen is going to live to see at least one more pitch in this at-bat as she follows it off. If you can see the American flag out in right center field, there's just enough of a breeze for it to not hang limp, as Allen just gets enough of a piece of that one to foul it and continue the at-bat. So up to 6 pitches in this at-bat as Ashley Worrell is ready with pitch number 7. And again, Mackenzie Allen follows that one. Mackenzie Allen is the number 9 hitter, so on deck is Lauren Fantone. And another foul ball. Mackenzie Allen with 4 consecutive foul balls. Ashley Worrell again will send in a 2-2 pitch. And Mackenzie Allen will promptly foul one off again. So these two really doing battle here in the bottom of the third inning. And that's going to be strike 3. Allen goes down looking. And it's 5 strikeouts in the game for Ashley Worrell. And some quick advice, some insights from Allen as she goes back to the dugout, telling Lauren Fantone what she observed through that long at-bat. And so Fantone, who is 0-1, comes up to hit here in the bottom of the third and promptly follows Mackenzie Allen's lead and fouls off the first pitch that she sees. Fantone, one of 2 left-handed hitters in the Spartans lineup for this game. She and Lily Keister, who is currently in the on-deck circle, so the 1-2 hitters for the home team. Hitting from the left side of the plate is Ashley Worrell. ponders what she sees on her wristband, sends in the 1-1, and that one's going to be chopped and fielded cleanly over to first for out number 2. Ashley Worrell getting things done in the pitching circle here for Rollins, as Lily Keister coming into the batter's box. She struck out back in the first inning. Showing bunt perhaps. Strike one to her. And that one will dribble foul. 0-2 now to Lily Keister, as the Spartans in jeopardy of being retired. 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the third. Keister hopes to have something to say about that, as that one sails high and outside for ball 1. And now the wind really picking up as the American flag full, if you will, out in right center. And the 1-2 from Worrell, and chopped to short, and just in time. Good hustle by Keister, but it is out number 3, so the Spartans, no runs, no hits, no TARS errors, and no runners left on base. We are through 3 complete and remain scoreless. We'll be back with more on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Ready to start the top of the 4th inning. Scoreless between the Spartans and the TARS. This is the Rollins second base player, Ravian Bryant. Bryant 0-1 in this game, 0-2. Great catch made in the outfield by Mackenzie Allen. And so Ravian Bryant is out number 1 in this top of the 4th. Nice play there by Mackenzie Allen for sure. And that will bring up the catcher, Chelsea Peace. Strike one to Peace, who grounded to short back in the first inning. One and one the count here against Chelsea Peace, a senior from Orlando. Swings and misses. Chelsea Peace, 5'10" and looks every bit of it, and walked alongside Lexi Chevalier, who is 5'7", and it almost looked more like 6'2" and 6'0" could be the vantage point from up here in the press box. But for sure, Chelsea Peace, a presence in the batter's box. And let's see if she can intimidate Mariah Galehouse here. Behind 1 and 2, chops it to short and over to first base in plenty of time for out number 2. Spartans getting it done defensively. As Ashley Worrell, the Tars cleanup hitter, comes up to bat. Worrell struck out looking in the second inning. And the first pitch to her from Galehouse here in the fourth is strike one. Gets the sign from Chevalier, 0-1 on the way, and Worrell, you can see the look of disappointment, her body language, as she's now behind 0-2. Mariah Galehouse had pitch count of 38 coming into this at-bat, so she's now at 40. That's 41, but it's also out number 3, and so the Tars are retired that quickly here in the top of the fourth. No runs on no hits, no Spartan errors, and no Tars base runners left. And we'll be back with the bottom of the fourth here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back live at the Mcmullen Family Stadium, Mariah Galehouse coming up to bat for the Spartans. And UT searching for their hitting shoes in the dugout as they are hitless through 3 innings. And Galehouse swings and misses. And let's see. Looks like behind the plate, looks like Chelsea Peace might have caught something, either the bat or the ball, obviously, on the Mariah Galehouse foul ball. And as you see, Worrell checking on her, and Chelsea Peace at least standing up. Seems to be okay. As you hear, perhaps you hear a respectful round of applause as Galehouse gets ready to come back into the batter's box. Mariah Galehouse struck out to end the first inning. She is one of 5 strikeouts that Ashley Worrell has recorded from the pitching circle so far this afternoon, as that one's bounced in. And so 1-1 now. Worrell looks in at Chelsea Peace, delivers, and Peace blocks that one as the count goes to 2-1. Now to Galehouse, and Galehouse leans just enough to avoid getting hit as the count goes to 3-1. On the way, swing and a miss. And so Galehouse, frustrated, takes a long walk out of the batter's box. Steps back in now as Worrell feeling it. And and strikes her out as she did in the first. And Galhouse goes down as out number one in the bottom of the fourth inning. That brings up Corinne Miner, Spartans' third base player. And Miner walked on 4 consecutive pitches in the second inning. And how about that? Manages to draw a ball here to start off her at bat in the bottom of the fourth. Worrell looking over to the dugout and now checks the wristband. And the 1-0 on the way from her. And sent way back, and that's off the outfield wall. And Corinne Miner goes into second base standing up. Probably could have gotten to third. She started to put the brakes on as she approached second, thinking that the ball was going to be fielded by Lexi Moore, the left fielder, and Moore maybe juggled it enough that if Miner had kept the Jets going, could have gotten to third, but nonetheless, the Spartans, the runner in scoring position here with only 1 out. And that'll bring up Alexa Russo. And Miner will hold at second base, as you saw Chelsea Peace picking that one up out of the dirt behind the batter's box. And Russo chops that one, and the home plate umpire Tyrone Miller says no, that's a foul ball. 1-1 to Alexa Russo. She hit into a fielder's choice in the second inning, and that's going to be foul. So 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. The Spartans have gotten their first hit of the game in this inning, as you see Russo chop it to second. And over to third goes Miner, as the second base player Bryant took a real quick look over to see if it was even an option at all to try to get the lead runner, and went to first instead. So 2 outs now for the Spartans, but the good news is that they do have Corinne Miner over at third base as Lexi Chevalier steps into the batter's box. And Lexi hitting into a fielder's choice in the second inning. Swing and a miss. And Chelsea Peace, is she okay? It looks like it. So 0-2 now to Chevalier as she talks to her fellow catcher, Chelsea Peace, comparing notes. Yeah, it's tough back there, isn't it, sometimes? They feel one another's pain. Corinne Miner is at third, and Lexi Chevalier behind in the count here, 0-2, as the Spartans have 2 outs. Game is scoreless. And the pitch from Worrell swung on and missed, and Chevalier goes down on the strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, no TARS errors, and 1 Spartans runner left on base. So we remain scoreless through 4 in Game 1 of our doubleheader. Back with more on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. We are locked in a pitcher's duel here as the Spartans and Tars are scoreless through 4 innings. The two teams have combined for just 3 hits. As you see the first pitch go for a strike against first base player Tyler Joe Colby, who hails from up in Port Orange. And Galhouse, very economical with their pitches, as you see already. Strike 2 in there. Galhouse now at 43 pitches in the game as, wow. Strikeout number 4 for Galhouse. Change up there that fooled Colby, who initially was showing bunt. And so that'll bring up the third base player, Grace Germer, who singled in the second inning. Germer had the first hit of the game for either team. And that's strike 2 to her here in the top of the 5th. It is a good crowd on hand here on this Friday afternoon as Galhouse delivers the 0-2, and that one goes foul. Do appreciate you being here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network watching this broadcast. I'm Bruce Wozniak, and this is the Mcmullen Family Stadium, home of the Tampa Spartans, boasting a 33-10 one-loss record coming into today's game. And the 0-2 now coming from Mariah Galhouse to Grace Germer, and that one's going to go for an infield hit. And Germer now 2 for 2 in the game. And that'll bring up Jaden Walker, the right fielder, 0 for 1 in this game. Walker, a sophomore from Palm Beach Gardens, lines it to second, and will they get 2? Indeed. And just like that, the inning is over as Spartans able to convert the first double play of the game. So no runs on 1 hit. There were no Spartan errors and no Tars runners left on base. And we'll be back with the bottom of the 5th on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Ready now for the bottom of the 5th. Leading things off for UT will be first base player Emily Jansen. She struck out back in the second inning. 7 strikeouts in the game for Rollins pitcher Ashley Worrell. That one's chopped to third. And on the very first pitch, Emily Jansen is retired. And so that'll bring up the shortstop, Steph Ballmer. Ballmer 0 for 1 in this game. Struck out in the second inning. Worrell leans back, delivers, and strike one to Steph Ballmer. One on the way, swing and a miss. Ballmer, you can sense the frustration from her. She backs away. And now back in the box, the 0-2 on the way. And she'll stay alive as that's ball one. Worrell sends the 1-2 in. Ballmer chops it right back to her. And Worrell over to first for the second Spartan out of the bottom of the fifth inning. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Mackenzie Allen, Spartans right fielder. She's 0 for 1 in this game, struck out looking in the third. Ball one to Mackenzie Allen. Allen, who played her high school ball at Wharton. And 1-1 to her here in the bottom of the fifth. A fast-moving game in this game one of this doubleheader. Two teams will go at it again tomorrow for a single game. As you see, ball two to Allen. Two-one on the way, and Allen jumps, swings, and misses. And looked like he's trying to slap. And instead, it's now 2-2 with 2 outs. And swings and misses for out number 3 and for strikeout number 8 for Ashley Worrell. So 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no Tars errors, and no Spartans runners left on base through 5 complete. We remain scoreless, and we'll be back with more on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back alive here, starting the top of the 6th. This is center fielder Taylor Waters for the Tars. Strike one to her. Waters is 0 for 1 in this game. And that'll be strike 2 right down the middle. Mariah Galhouse, efficient as always. And that one's chopped to third. Corinne Miner over to first. And a nice job with the stretch by Emily Jansen. So that is out number 1 for Rollins here in the top of the 6th. Brings up the number 9 hitter, Lexi Moore, the left fielder. She is 1 for 1, having singled in the 3rd inning. And strike 1 to her here in the top of the 6th. If you came for offense, sorry to disappoint. as the two teams have combined for just 4 hits, no runs, and we are in the top of the 6th inning, and wondering what it's going to take for one of these teams to break through, as Galhouse and Worrell locked in a pitcher's duel. The 0-2 on the way, and that's outside for ball 1. Lexi Moore has Ashley Troutman in the on-deck circle behind her, as we'll go back to the top of the order. And that one is fouled back to the wall. And so Lexi Moore staying alive here in the top of the 6th. Rollins has traveled well, as they say. Good fan support here for the Tars, as that one's sent fouled on the third base line. Of course, Rollins just quote-unquote up the road in Winter Park. And now Galhouse with the 1-2 and fouls that one back to stay alive. Moore steps back into the batter's box, and Galhouse delivers the 1-2, and Chevalier trying to sway the umpire, who doesn't go for it, and the count goes to 2-2. Just over 2 hours away, Rollins College, and their softball team battling here in West Central Florida on the University of Tampa campus against the Spartans. And there's a shot that will result in a base hit. Nice job there by Lexi Moore to run that one out. And now she is 2 for 2 in the game, just like her teammate Grace Germer. And so the two of them have combined for their team's 4 hits. And so as I forecasted, not like I was any kind of soothsayer, had a crystal ball, but the next batter, Ashley Troutman, and singles to the outfield, and wow, some good base running there. And all of a sudden the Tars, with runners on the corners, with only 1 out here in the top of the 6th, as Troutman with the single that now brings up Ravian Bryant. As you see, a little conference in the pitching circle. Galhouse and Lexi Chevalier doing most of the talking, and third base player Corinne Miner, who spends a significant amount of time in the pitching circle, leaned in just enough. Might have had a word or two for her teammates. And set now to resume play with Ravian Bryant here against Galhouse. And the first pitch to her is ball 1. And Troutman goes to second. So runners in scoring position, runners plural in scoring position, second and third. Troutman at second, Moore at third, and swing and a foul tip for Ravian Bryant. Good base running by Lexi Moore that has her with the game's potential first run, standing down at third as that one is thrown home, and she's safe. And they throw to second, and look out, there's going to be some activity here now, as things getting a little out of hand there, with a run crossing the plate that I think Lexi Chevalier is still in disbelief about, as you see Leslie Cantor coming out of the Spartans dugout, and she too wants some kind of explanation from home plate umpire Tyrone Miller, who can say nothing more than she's safe. And of course Cantor is not going to get him to change his mind, but I think the Spartans were a little stunned by the call, and then as a result some activity that you saw unfold on the base paths that at the end of it all results in Troutman being on third and Ravian Bryant being on second. And there's one that's popped up, and that will be caught for out number 2 by Steph Ballmer. And so the Spartans can exhale a little bit here, as there's still runners in scoring position, meaning second and third, but now looking to try to retire Ashley Worrell to get out of this half inning, down only 1-0, as Worrell pops that one up. Ballmer calls for it, and she's got it for out number 3, but not before the game sees its first run go up on the board. The Tars get 1 run on 2 hits. There were no Spartan errors, and 2 Rollins runners left on base. And so we are through 5 1/2. And we finally have a score as the Tars are up 1-0. Back with more on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
The Rollins Tars trying to put an end to UT's 8-game winning streak, leading 1-0 here as we start the bottom of the 6th inning. And UT left fielder Lauren Fantone leading things off here. She's 0 for 2. A couple of groundouts, first and third innings, to third and second base respectively. 1-0 here to Fantone in the bottom of the 6th. And that one hit her. And so Fantone will take first base on the hit by pitch. And that'll bring up the number 2 hitter, Lily Keister. Keister is 0 for 2 in this game. And saw there as home plate umpire Tyrone Miller says foul. And Keister asking for timeout to go over and talk to Cantor. And as she chats with her coach, her teammate Lauren Fantone stands over on first base talking to assistant coach Denise Rubio. Keister struck out in the first, and then a ground out in the third, and she's behind here 0-1 in the bottom of the 6th. The 0-1 to her, and it stays fair, and look out, that is an out, but you saw a little bit of a lean there, and making sure to keep the foot down. Ravian Bryant covering over at first. So the sacrifice bunt by Keister moves up Fantone to second. So the tying run is now in scoring position. And with one out in the bottom of the sixth, it brings up Mariah Galehouse. 0 for 2 in this game and sends that one foul. You'd like to think, if you're a Spartans fan, that she's about due. Galehouse, I mentioned, hitting .299. So if you're generous, you might round that in a way that says 1 out of 3, and thus this being her third at-bat of the game. Will this be when she reaches base? 0-1 on the way, and that one's going to be foul. Keep in mind that this is the first game of a doubleheader, so we will have plenty more softball for you still here this evening, as we have passed 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:08 to be exact. And Worrell with the 0-2. Galehouse lashes that one to short, and the throw to first. And now at second. And wow, look at the disbelief. Oh, Leslie Cantor running out onto the field at top speed. And Fantone still standing on second, watching her coach argue on her behalf. And Cantor is furious, talking to umpire Steve Lewis, as the Tars, ecstatic of course, rushing out of their dugout. And the sixth inning comes to a dramatic end. And so 1-0, the Tars clinging to the lead. And we'll be back with the top of the seventh here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. High drama here at the Mcmullen Family Stadium as we're in the top of the seventh. And the first pitch to Tyler Joe Colby, fouled off. A nail biter unfolding here. The visitors with this 1-0 lead, and the Spartans only have one hit through the first 6 innings, as you see a swing and a miss by Colby. 0-2 the count. Mariah Galehouse up to 65 pitches now. She has struck out 4, and there's a foul ball that will allow Tyler Joe Colby to stay alive here. She is 0 for 2 in this game. Ground out in the second and then struck out in the fifth. And for a game that only has 1 run and a combined total of 6 hits, there has been some drama on the field. Some emotion. And the 0-2 now. And that one fielded cleanly and over to first in plenty of time for out number 1. And so that'll bring up third base player Grace Germer, who is 2 for 2 singles in both the second and fifth innings. And that time she's hit by the pitch. And so Germer running down to first base. And that'll bring up Jaden Walker. Walker 0 for 2 in this game. Fouled back to the screen. Oh and 1 here in the top of the 7th with 1 out. The batter is the right fielder, Jaden Walker. Struck out looking in the 2nd and hit into a double play in the 5th. And Russo does get there in time. And so the Spartans escape the top of the 7th without any more offensive damage from the Tars, and will come up to bat looking to at least tie this. Otherwise we will reach the end of game 1 of this doubleheader. We'll be back with the bottom of the 7th. You're watching Tampa Spartans softball on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Corinne Miner leading off the bottom of the 7th. Spartans sending their 4, 5, and 6 hitters to the plate, and hoping that someone will come through enough to muster 1 run and get this game tied up, keep that winning streak alive. The 1-0, and that's going to be strike 1 to Corinne Miner. Miner is 1 for 1 in this game. She doubled in the 4th, and that's going to be out number 1. Miner had walked in the 2nd, doubled in the 4th, and now she is out number 1 of the bottom of the 7th. And so that'll bring up Alexa Russo, the second base player who is 0 for 2 in this game. And Russo facing Ashley Worrell, who has had tremendous command in this game. As that went 3rd to 1st, and that's 2 outs for the Spartans. Backs to the wall now, as Lexi Chevalier is the proverbial last hope. Chevalier 0 for 2. And Ashley Worrell, pitch count of 86, 8 strikeouts. And Chevalier, that's going to be foul. Chevalier doesn't necessarily need to be the hero, just needs to reach base, as she watches that one go in for ball 1. Temptation in these situations is to swing for the fences, when in fact all you need to do is get a base hit. And is that going to be it? Fielded at short, over to first, and that's the ball game. The Tars put an end to the Spartans' 8-game winning streak with a 1-0 victory, as UT goes down 3 up and 3 down. And the bottom of the 7th, no runs, no hits, no Tars errors, and no Spartans runners left on base. So a complete game performance by Ashley Worrell, who finishes with 8 strikeouts. And Rollins, with the victory, now improves to 31-8 on the season. And as I mentioned, the Spartans' 8-game winning streak comes to an end. They fall to 33-11. And so they will have Game 2 in just a little bit. And we'll have that for you on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Our final score for Game 1, Rollins 1, the Spartans 0. 5 hits and 1 error for the Tars. 1 hit and no errors for UT. I'm Bruce Wozniak, thanking you for watching, and we'll be back in a little while with Game 2 of our doubleheader here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.